Alright, Satan, what horrible pieces of shit do I have to review this time? Satan? Huh? What's this? Dear Dr. Jackass, the tranq you used on me has given me an irritable rash and now I must go to an actual doctor to get it fixed.
Sweet, that means I don't have to review anything bad this month.
But don't think that this means you aren't going to review anything for me. I've left the movies for this month on my desk, and you know I will know if you don't review them. Ugh. Well, let's see what the damage is this time. Ah, shit! Greetings, travelers. I'm your host, the C-Dot that knows a lot, Dr. Waluigi. If it hasn't been obvious to you all until now, I love the horror genre. Even though I was a big scaredy cat when I was young, there were many shows and movies that helped me get into horror-related material. However, that doesn't mean I like all types of horror movies. One such subgenre of horror that I can't stand is the found footage genre. The main reason why is because I find that these movies have no substance in writing outside of making cheap jump scares and annoying as hell characters that just lug around a camera as if their life is the most interesting thing in the world. Now, I have tried to give this genre a fair chance and have seen a few movies of this type of genre. I at least have checked out the original Blair Witch Project and think that it's a very good movie. Unfortunately, we're not talking about one of the good examples of this genre. No, instead we are taking a look at a movie that I was super excited to see as a kid in high school, only to be immediately disappointed by how utterly garbage it was and that the trailers lied to us. This is my review of The Gallows. The movie was originally independently made until it was picked up by Warner Brothers and distributed through New Line Cinema. The movie did have some trouble getting the rating the director wanted, as the MPA was constantly giving it an R rating, even though there's nothing particularly disturbing to warrant that rating. The movie was eventually released in October of 2015, and while it was a critical failure with only a 14% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, it was a huge financial success, making it $43 million against its $100,000 budget. It just goes to show that sometimes there really is no mercy in this world when stuff like this gets popular. The movie follows a group of kids going to their high school late at night to sabotage the set of their fall play, which hasn't been done in 20 years due to the accidental death of one of the actors. However, the actor's spirit has come back as the character he played, locking the kids in and picks them off one by one. Can the kids survive the night, or will they all become victims of the hangman and be sent to the gallows? The first thing about this movie that I hate is the characters. While I don't blame the actors for the roles they were given, these characters are so annoying and unlikable that I kept checking the runtime to see how long it would be before these kids were killed off. The characters are the annoying type of stereotypical kids I went to high school with, and let me tell you, they're just as annoying here as they were when I was in high school. The only character I kind of liked was the main protagonist because at least he's treated like an actual person instead of a dumb stereotype, but that doesn't make up for the other dumb characters in this movie. While I think that the characters and the type of genre are the worst part of this movie, I will admit that there are some good creepy shots in the movie. When they show the killer stalking and getting ready to kill the kids, they shoot the scenes in a way that I find both scary and shocking. If this were shot as a slasher film or as a haunted house film, I think that would have made the film much stronger. I'll even admit that the design of the killer, while a little simple, is interesting and creepy enough that it works for this movie. But that's all the positives I can give, as the rest of the movie is very stupid. I feel like this movie wouldn't be so bad if the director had changed one thing about it. Just make it a straight-up slasher movie. It feels like this movie was intended to be a slasher movie from the way the script was written, but instead someone changed their minds and made it a found footage movie. More than likely it was because at the time this movie was released, that was the most popular horror film at the time. Seriously, the only types of horror movies I ever saw coming out of the theaters around this time were either found footage horror movies, possession horror movies, or God forbid, both. So even when this movie came out, it didn't stand out from the other found footage horror films that were being made at the time, and it ended up just getting blended together with the rest of those movies. I found this movie hard to get through. With the style of film that I already don't like and was overused in the late 2000s up until the late 2010s, annoying and boring characters that you want to see die by the end of the movie, and a premise that should have worked if the director had changed it to a straight-up supernatural slasher movie, makes this a chore to get through, and by the end feels like I lost an hour and 20 minutes of my time. Overall, I give The Gallows a 2 out of 10. It does have some interesting ideas and even a couple of scares, but by the end there are a million better horror films to check out than this one. Thanks for watching, I'm Dr. Waluigi, and remember, don't judge a book by its cover, cause you'll never know what's inside. Good night, everyone.